Okay, so to continue our coverage over the Dawn of X era of X-Men comics, we actually pick up with Wolverine #1. Now, of course, with the cancellation of Fallen Angels, this kind of made room for Wolverine to get his own solo title. Now, of course, we all knew as Marvel fans that sooner or later, Wolverine would get his own book once again. And here it is. Now, we're only covering the first storyline in Wolverine #1. And the reason why I say that is because when it came to Wolverine #1, there were two stories inside of it. But what Marvel did was, after the first book told both different stories of Wolverine #1, issues number like 2, 3, and 4, I want to say, covered one storyline. Then 5 and 6 and 7 covered the other storyline. And so today, we're only covering the first story, and then we're going to cover the rest of this first story in later videos. That's how weird it gets. But either way though, in the opening pages of this book, we actually pick up with Wolverine right now freaking out. And the reason why he is freaking out is because he had killed every single member of the X-Force team. Now that right there is huge, because it's kind of like, why? Why did Wolverine kill all of them? And he says something controlled his mind. Something made him do it. And the big question is though, what? What was able to take control of Wolverine's mind and make him kill every single member of the X-Force team, especially Jean Grey, the woman he loves? And so we do jump back 5 days ago, where of course we actually pick up with Wolverine playing with some children on Krakoa. And I honestly like this because it's Wolverine showing his like more fun side, like his relaxed side. He's not so serious, not such a grumpy person. He's out there having fun with a bunch of children. But either way, you do have Jean Grey kind of ruin the game that he was playing with the kids. But the reason why she did that is to tell Wolverine, hey, listen, you need to get down to Hellfire Bay. Now remember, Hellfire Bay is of course the main location on Krakoa that the Hellfire Club works out of. So Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, and of course Sebastian Shaw. And the reason why Jean Grey brought up Hellfire Bay is because Wolverine actually has a meeting with Kitty Pryde. Now, of course, we can say with this moment right here, it takes place before Marauders #6. Because remember, in Marauders #6, Kitty Pryde died. And so we know that this moment right here must take place before that moment right there. But either way, you do have Wolverine and Kitty Pryde meet up. Now, of course, when it comes to Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, they kind of have a bond. Now, for some fans, it's kind of like a father-daughter bond. But for some fans, it's kind of like big brother and little sister. But either way though, you do have Kitty Pryde tell Wolverine that something is wrong. Now remember, when it comes to the Hellfire Club, their main goal is to transport medicines across the countries that had accepted a trade with Krakoan. Now, with that being said, you do have Kitty Pryde say that some of the petals from the flowers they used to make the medicine have gone missing. And at first, it wasn't a big problem because it's just how things go when you're shipping things across the ocean. Sometimes a couple items do go missing. But for Kitty Pryde, a lot of items have gone missing. On top of that, these medicines are very powerful and a lot of human beings want the medicine right now. And so it seems like the medicine is falling in the wrong hands. Wolverine needs to go investigate to figure out what in the world is going on. But then we jump over to Baltimore, where we actually pick up with a new character known as Agent Bannister. Now, Agent Bannister, of course, is working a case because he was called in. Now, with him being called in, of course, he begins to look around and it was a drug house. But the problem is, every person that was working in the drug house have been killed. And so the big question is, what killed them? On top of that, what in the world were they making in this drug lab? Because you have Agent Bannister say, something is off, something is wrong, because the drugs they're making in here they're not your usual drugs. On top of that, the smell. It smells like flower, like flowers you grow. And so the big question is, what in the world were they making? And of course, for us, it's kind of like, does this have connections to the missing petals that Kitty Pryde just told Wolverine about? But then we jump one day later, and so now we're 4 days before Wolverine had apparently killed every single member of the X-Force team, where we actually pick up with Wolverine meeting up with Sage. Now, when it comes to Sage, she basically has the mutant ability to kind of be a computer. Like, she's good at tracking things down and also figuring things out for the X-Force team. But with that being said, you do have Sage tell Wolverine, hey, listen, with everything I have gathered, I was able to figure out that basically whoever has stole the flowers, they're right now somewhere in a small town outside of Russia. And so you have Wolverine call up the X-Force team, and they use Gateway, a mutant that has the ability to teleport over to that small town outside of Moscow. But getting back over to Agent Bannister, we do see him meeting up with Agent Meredith Milley. Now, Meredith Milley is basically this person who works under Agent Bannister. But you do have Meredith tell Bannister what she has learned about the drugs that were being made in that drug house. And of course, we know the drugs being made came from products that came from COPPA, like the petals that went missing from Kitty Pryde's shipment. But either way, those drug people were making a new kind of drug that basically helped people feel 2 times smarter than they usually do and stronger as well. And so with that being said, is Agent Bannister kind of like, okay, so now we know what kind of drugs they were making, but where were they getting their products from? But that is the moment we come to find out that he's at the hospital. And the reason why? Because he has a daughter. And this daughter is very, very sick. And right now, she is on the waiting list trying to get some medicine. And of course, the waiting list she's on is some medicine that is coming from COPPA, the same kind of petals that Kitty Pryde had that went missing. And so right now it's kind of like, it's Bannister kind of thinking the same drugs he found at drug house, could they have connections to the mutants? But getting back to the X-Force team, remember, they went to Russia to figure out possibly the location that Sage gave them could have the connections to the missing petals from Kitty Pryde's shipment. But that is the moment they actually teleport into the middle of a group of people doing a ritual. And this group of people is a cult. And this cult apparently praises the mutants like they are gods. And so it's kind of like X-Force just walked in the middle of some crazy stuff right now. And so you have Kid Omega kind of like, this is amazing. They praise us. They love us. They think we're gods. And they're happy we're here right now in their presence. Like, this is amazing. But that is the moment you have this cult begin to drink some kind of liquid. And that liquid is pollen. Of course, pollen comes from plants. And those plants are cocoon plants. And so you have this cult, these people in this cult begin to change. And they begin to attack the X-Force team. Because yes, they do love mutants. They do praise mutants. But for them, this cult, their main goal is to try to drink the blood from mutants. And so they begin the process of actually attacking the the X-Force team. Now, with that being said, they begin to die left and right. And Wolverine's kind of like, what's killing them? And that is the moment you have Jean Grey say, they died because they drunk that pollen. That pollen killed them. And so now the question is, who's making this new drug? This new drug just killed all these people. And does this have connections to Agent Bannister? But then we jump one day before Wolverine had killed the X-Force team. where we actually pick up with Wolverine meeting up with some mobsters who are having a meeting behind a bar. Now, of course, this is Wolverine telling them, listen, if you want to try to kill me, go ahead. You will fail and I will kill you. If I wanted you dead, you would be dead already. I came here for information because we came to find out that you guys gave a cult some bad drugs. And when they took that drug in front of us, they all died. But I'm not here to kill you for that. I'm here to get information from you about who in the world supply you those drugs. And that is the moment you have one of the gangsters say, the pale girl. The pale girl was the one who gave us the drugs. But here's the thing. The pale girl is her own kind of drug. She gets in your mind and makes you do anything for her. So now the question is, who's the pale girl? But now we get a page where you have Wolverine talking to Beast about this new drug. At the same time, you have Agent Bannister talking about this new drug as well. And the reason why they're both on the same page having this conversation with their teams is because this new drug is being made from mutant-made products. And so with that being said, with this drug out there on the streets and people are fighting over it, people are dying over it, it's the mutants being blamed for it. Even though it's not a mutant out there making the drug, the mutants are the one being blamed for it because it's their products being made into drugs. And so right now it's Agent Bannister wanting to shut down the mutant race. At the same time, it's Wolverine trying to fix this problem that's been put on the mutant race. And so to close on this book and this video, we do see Wolverine in the present day being able to confront the pale girl. Now, when he confronts her, no lie, she honestly looks like a ghost. But either way, it's Wolverine now have to fight against the pale girl to get revenge for the death of the X-Force team. Because now we're left to believe that maybe the pale girl got into his head and made him kill the X-Force team. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.